Hi guys, hi guys, hi guys.
We're back,
As always,
like we always say. It's James Silas here,
and it's
and we got
Oris.
Oris in the building, and you're welcome to the James and Oris show. As usual, what we do here is more or less talk about, analyze entertainment and movies and music artists and
Yeah,
name it,
just general.
everything that happens around the entertainment industry. And yes, you can also join us in the conversation via your comments, subscribe, share, like, and let us know what you think about both the show and the stories that we'll be talking about. So
I want to think about
today,
my glasses too.
today we'll be starting with. Everybody worldwide, I'm sure you know that Davido had a concert here in Lagos. This is actually the first concert in Nigeria, I guess,
Yes.
after the storm.
Okay.
After
Fair
everything
enough.
that's
Yes.
after his hiatus from the loss of his son. And there's a lot of hype around this event, and anticipation was really, really on the high, and people, it was fingers crossed. Not like, I don't know if if some people just felt like, okay, is this event going to be successful? Is it going to, well, because David has pretty much killed or probably done very well in a lot of the shows, both international ones and the local ones. So, and this one was quite, what's the word? Was quite, it's supposed to be iconic, should I say?
Yeah, I
Or,
think
like
mostly
a
because of the
major.
venue, because we're using like a semi-stadium, TBS,
Mm,
the
mm.
Tafawa Square, as opposed to like a Kota, which is like it looks like the premium spot for artists to perform in Lagos.
Yes.
But instead, he kind of revamped TBS for the concert. And it looks like from the just so here's the problem. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I like to talk about problems with
Mm-hmm.
the Nigerian space generally. Is we don't have magazines, publications, prints or whatever it is that focus on entertainment, and so that review shows. For instance,
Yes.
if this was in the UK, you would see a Guardian report, the Guardian UK report
Mm.
about all the content. You see that they will not have something on top of it like the star system, like 5 stars, 4 star, whatever it is. At all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
don't have publications that like have that authority to say, oh, our correspondents attended this. This is exactly what he thinks about it. A long,
We
it's a
used to
short list.
have, but not anymore.
Yeah,
We used to, Hip Hop World magazine.
back when I was still on the streets, I used to go to concerts and like review them, talk about, write about, and everything.
Yeah, Hip Hop
But
World magazine used to do it.
okay,
I did a lot for Hip Hop World
okay,
magazine. Yes.
yeah. So but I'm older now. I'm an old man, my gray hair with my gray beard. So I'm no longer quite. I don't do that. I don't. In fact, when the concert, I was like, what? If it was back in the day, I would try my best to actually attend. But I'm just like, please, I don't hold. I'm not attending this stuff. But so that's a big problem. So it means that we can never really get like an accurate idea of like what exactly happened, minus the PR. Of course, clearly,
Yes.
Davido and his team, it's in their interest to say this was the greatest concert ever, blah blah blah. So the same way they marketed it before the show, after the show, they have to maintain the same
Energy.
and say, what, this was a great show, blah blah blah. But I know that speaking about Davido's performances, I have seen him a bunch of times, maybe two, yeah, a bunch of times, and across a very lengthy period as well. The very first time I saw Davido perform was maybe 10, 11 years ago, a long time ago in Abuja. It was I think it was a fashion music show, maybe Music Runway or something. They used to do back in Abuja at the time. They did one in Lagos even at the time too. But anyway, it was one in Abuja I attended, and I remember just thinking to myself about how it was funny. This guy had hit songs, so maybe one or two hit songs or whatever, because it was really early in his career on radio. But on watching him perform, I was thinking to myself that there just was what was that thing called? Stage presence. Yes, there was an absence of stage presence. The song was blaring. He was jumping on stage, and yet there was this thing. There was
No
just this
connection,
disconnect.
right?
Yes. There was just this disconnection between
Him
what
and
he
the
was doing
audience
and the
and even
audience.
the
At
music.
least
Okay.
for me, who is in the audience, I was like,
I
okay,
get it.
this is an interesting thing to happen. This is like 10 whatever years ago. I saw him again. I don't remember anymore whether it was him was performing or it was Whiskey, one of them anyway. But I remember the other person came to join him. This was now at a hotel, 2018 or 2019 or thereabouts. And at that particular one, I also felt like it was better than, of course, what I had seen 10 years ago. But there was still a disconnect somewhere. Same thing with Kiss Daniel, by the way, who was a different show entirely. I remember seeing Kiss Daniel in his own show in a hotel, and the jams are there and everything. But if the music wasn't playing, I just felt like you feel like somebody is making a lot of gestures on stage, but you cannot even hear the person. Again, it was a disconnect. So some of our artists, they might have hit records, but it's not the same thing as having that stage charisma, which, as everybody would know, what's his name, Burna Boy has.
Commands.
Exactly. But I've also seen Burna Boy, but I don't think I've seen Burna Boy on the big stage. I saw him perform for his for his grandfather's 80th birthday back in Freedom Park, which is a smaller venue, and so of course a lot more intimate. And I remember that, okay, this was Ginger. So I don't know if the same thing will happen with Davido or whatever. I would see the same effect. I've never really seen Burna on like a big stage. But anyway, a larger point here is that I saw a particular tweet about how Ashake came and joined Davido on stage, and they performed their song together, No Competition, from the Timeless album. And somebody had commented about how there was just like a lack of stage presence. No, a lack of stage presence with what he was saying there. And it was like, it's better to just play the music and be in your house. That's what the guy was saying. And I wasn't at this concert, so I don't know. But I watched the video and I felt, okay, that same thing I saw 10 years ago. I was kind of feeling, of course I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know, but I was kind of feeling the same idea. Like, okay, it still looks like there's a lot of energy and jumping on stage, but that's it. Some people just have that thing where they just appear on stage, and it's kind of like what comedians have. Some of them, before they even crack a joke, they're just on stage, you're laughing. That's the thing. I just felt like, maybe, I don't know, this guy wasn't there either and he was saying this, I don't know, but I know that for a fact 10-11 years ago when I saw the video on stage in Abuja, it was one of the things I distinctly remember from that concert, that this guy somehow just doesn't have stage presence. But anyway, I'll let James talk about it. I've been going on for too long.
So on the area of stage presence, so I think it depends. It depends. So I have also witnessed or watched Davido live on stage on several occasions, and I mean, when you talk about stage presence, I think he has that stage presence, but what actually makes it different sometimes is, when I think what you try, what that also means, from what you just said, can be there's a level of personality that you expect that artist as big as Davido to have when he's on stage, that commanding, like he does them. So it's beyond just having big songs and having a lot of hit songs to perform on stage and people are screaming or dancing or singing along with you. There's also the part where I really think that it might what might have caused this particular, or why you have this notion, is that the music itself, in terms of how you deliver the music, either live or playing with the DJ set. So on this particular occasion, this particular event, I think what actually was lacking, because even when I was watching it, I watched on YouTube. I wasn't there live in person, and like you said, I have the same situation where I've been to so many events or so many concerts with of these artists that I'm not really hyped or big on going again to see. I'm wondering what's going to be different, what's going to change, But in this situation, what I think that the event or the performance or the stage situation lacked was cohesiveness, in terms of in fact, David even made an effort. He did well. Other artists that were performing were pretty much just miming along with their own record playing at the back, singing off key. I mean, I watched Peruzzi's set. He was singing off key, just concerned about people that were enjoying the music than him giving a performance. I saw Mehdi as well. Mehdi was also more or less dancing to his record on stage than performing. And that's really, really, even with Dave. So I think that, I don't know what technicalities, what challenges that it might be, but another thing I also noticed on that set or on that stage was that, you see, even like I said, David's own part was different, or he was at least better. There's nothing like, look, I have to, comment or bring it up. I'll just put it here right now, that you see someone like Flavor, when you go to Flavor's concert,
yes. Flavor,
what king. You hear on Flavor's CD, or when you listen to Flavor, is almost what you also hear when he's on stage. And you know why? Because he comes on stage with his his producer comes Mastercraft, his one of his major producers is on stage there with him. The sound that Mastercraft gives to him in the studio is what he brings out on stage. And so when he's performing, his delivery, his sound, what he's saying, what he's singing at that point in time is what you all get to enjoy on stage. I think another person that does that, I don't know if it's the same, but Brimo. When
Yes,
Brimo is on
yes,
stage,
another person also
you
has.
pretty much hear the same thing, you know. Another person that I see makes an effort, but this person is even exceptional when it comes to this whole singing thing for me, is Wande Cole. Wande Cole is a live auto tune on his own. So I mean, the first time I heard Wande Cole sing, and then the first time I met him in person, one of the questions that came up was, "Does he sing with your voice? Is it auto tuned?" And then the guy sang live, and he just in that small office that we were, and everyone was like, "Okay, my God, this guy is really, really like this," you know. So I think, and then Tumaba also is a good singer, both off and on, you know, in the studio. But back to Davido, I think that was one thing that event or that stage, they had good sound, no doubt. But you see, David performing with the sound that we were hearing at the background was pretty much disconnected. And I think I might be wrong, you know, maybe some people that were there live probably heard differently, but that's one of the things I feel like when it comes to performance and the connection or the presence that you're talking about, because David is a big star. So once he's on stage, that is David on stage. Sometimes we cannot compare the charisma level, I don't know how maybe the charisma or the personality level, that when you bring back Burna Boy in this conversation, Burna Boy carries he has a huge personality that when he's on stage, you just see a great deal of power and charisma that might be different from what a Wizkid is a happy boy. I think when he's on stage, it's almost like Davido too. The same thing, you know. They just whether they sing.
I want to say that I hear you, but
Yeah.
for Wizkid, again, this is start of their careers.
Yes.
I saw Wizkid too. I don't think it was on the same stage. It was a different place exactly, but also maybe around the time he just did Ojolegba. Okay, I've seen him twice. Back when he had his first album Superstar in Abuja, then I've seen him here in Lagos at an event, another fashion event, and this time he was performing Ojolegba.
Okay.
And at both times, I felt it was pretty decent. No jumping around on stage, just you know. In fact, the one in Lagos, he was very corporately dressed actually, and just singing Ojolegba, very cool with a band. Super, you know. Abuja's was a disaster, but not really because of him. They had planned for this really big venue and they couldn't even fill up to half of it. It was really, really bad. Really, really bad. This was like 10, 12 years ago. Anyway, so I feel like for my own watching both of them at different times, it felt to me like Wizkid knew much more, had much more stage presence than Davido emitted. Like I said, this is back in the day, so maybe it's not the same case. But I was just reminded of it because of that comment that I saw. And look, I saw people were actually agreeing with him, you know, about how can you have two of people who have like some of the biggest records currently playing on radio, Ashake and Davido, and for some reason there's a disconnect. It feels like something is really, really wrong here, because you'd assume that the synergy of charisma, the synergy of stage presence should even quadruple.
Because
but this time it seems like it's imploded.
They did not rehearse together. Do you think that might be a factor?
Sure as a factor, I don't know, but I'm sure they did not rehearse together.
That's what I saw on that stage as well, that a lot of these artists did not. Davido was the highlight of the event, or the star artist of the event. He probably did all the sound checks and all of the other things. The other guys probably came for sound check, but Davido probably did proper rehearsals, I believe, you know, which was
probably set, you know,
but every other person did, like you said, it was just
which is the problem with the way I think the Nigerian celebrity treats the Nigerian audience, especially when they have like an Oyibo audience as well. Just treat us like these ones, whatever it is we give them, they will take it, you know. And it bothers me that they feel this way about the Nigerian audience, because the same thing, they would not pull some of these stunts out if they were performing in the UK or in the US. But again, by the way, I have to say this, that some of this is a philosophical thing and a cultural thing. The Nigerian fan, the average Nigerian fan who attends an event is not actually going there for a live performance. we're a poor country. We're a country that has very few celebrities, even if you think there are plenty. Actually, there are really few compared to like other similarly sized countries or even smaller countries. Few celebrities. If you're a poor person, the chances that you see somebody who is really famous is really, really low. Everybody's living on the mainland. How many people are on the island? How many people are in the banana island? So you see the different gradations of these things. So the more rich you get, the more exclusive it is. So for you who is paying 10,000, even if 50,000 to watch a person, to watch a show, technically speaking, that might be your only opportunity to see somebody who is famous. So the Nigerian audience is actually not going to watch a live performance. He or she is going for a celebrity sighting. Very distinct difference between how we consume live shows and the Oyibo way of consuming live shows.
Yeah.
So it means that the Oyibo performer knows that, oh, they are paying me because they want to come and see me sing. You understand? And so you see, I was watching a recent, an old YouTube video of Ravi Lavigne, the rock star, singing, I think, I'm With You, which is a very old song, 12, 13 years ago song. And she's just literally on stage, microphone with the band and whatever. Finish. Super, super great. Now, you don't have the same thing in Nigeria. But yeah, to come back to what I was saying about the principle. So, the Nigerian person is not going to watch a live performance. He's going to just see a celebrity. So it means that if the celebrity puts on their music on the background, and celebrity is just there miming or in fact dancing, doing whatever it is like, or asking them to sing, whatever it is he likes, it is attractive for the average Nigerian audience. There's people like us who feel like, oh, we've seen Oyibo people do it somewhere, or this is how it should be. We are the ones who are the problem, because we now feel like, you know what, we want to see performances. That's what people are paying for. But it's not true. When a Nigerian person is bringing out 10k, 20k to come on a Davido show, he or she's not watching. He's not coming there to come and see Davido sing live. If it happens, good. But the primary reason for paying that money is to come and see Davido do whatever it is he wants to do on stage. It is the reason why you have all of these club appearances. The person just shows up in the club. There's a lot of money, maybe 2 million or whatever it is. Yeah. And that's only the reason. It's not performing. It's not doing a single thing. I was once in a small club in on the mainland, Surulere, I think, back in the day. And what's his name? He had a couple of hit songs at the time. Oris was in the club that particular night. He didn't do a thing. Maybe they gave him mic and he just said something, hey, whatever it is, and that was it. And hey, there was a lot of cheer. And of course, that was it. And I'm sure that he was probably paid millions for that. When I interviewed Saga, the Big Brother guy, I think last year or thereabout, and he was saying that immediately he got out of the Big Brother house, he was booked already to appear in a place, I think in Warri or somewhere. And for appearing that particular night, they paid him ₦1 million. And he was stunned by it, just to appear. So anyway, my point is this, is that yes, when you see these shows going on, Nigerians are not paying for live performances. They are paying for celebrity sightings. We should understand that is also what the musician is also playing along with. They know that they don't have to put in effort. Their presence there is enough. So people who now go the extra mile, those ones are doing it because that's the kind of artist they want to be, or the kind of artist they are. Bremo will do it because you know that's Bremo. He puts a lot of whatever on his ability to perform, ability to sing, ability to write. That's like an artist. Most people are just celebrities, and so this music thing is like one other thing for them. So yeah, so they know that yes, you people are paying to come and see me. I will appear. I will act like I'm singing. I will dance. I would ask you to sing. I will do some kind of activity on stage. I will do anything, but I do not have to sing because I know that the audience here just wants to see me.
Now, okay, I mean, with no intention to just want to really compare, but actually, when I watched Davido at the O2 Arena, you know, it was compared to what we saw here, at CBS. It was way different. It's not exactly, it's not the same at all. Way different from production. So, but shout out to Toro Entertainment Company, Toro EC. That's the thing. Toro EC for putting this together. I think I really love the stage. I loved the
I saw some of the work they really did.
That they put into this particular event. And I think TBS
too was
may have come to stay now when it comes to concerts like this. I know
that might be a good thing that comes out of this.
This guy has tried what's his name? Olamide, when they did is it Olik 4?
I think he always done Olik at Echo Hotel.
Yeah, but one of those times now, he now did.
Didn't he do he did a stadium now? Not TBS, it was in
Surulere. He did stadium. But the feedback that we got from that particular event wasn't really
Yeah, it wasn't good.
impressive.
I was wondering about
Yeah.
that actually. Before this one, I was very sure that we were going to hear reports of people getting robbed and stuff. It doesn't. I haven't heard
No,
that.
this one didn't. Yeah, so which is another thing. I mean,
I was
it
very
has
sure it was
gotten
going to
to a
happen on
point.
Lagos Island, you know. But
yeah, but it
not-
had gotten to a point as far as even with the promotion of this event, they had partnership with Lagos State, they had security forces, they had a lot. But I still heard that
okay.
crowd control wasn't really as
Great.
easy. It wasn't great.
Of course,
Yeah,
it
so
can
but
never be.
we won't
But yeah,
expect
but
so
yes,
much.
but yeah,
you
but
know,
I didn't.
I think
Yeah,
we can
I
work on
haven't.
that.
Yes, I haven't heard of. I haven't heard so far. But maybe there's. I just haven't seen it. You know, people say, "Oh, I was robbed." That was because I was sure that it was going to happen. But if it didn't happen, or if it happened in small pockets, I'm like, okay, that means TBS actually might become another avenue because to be fair, Lagos actually does need another venue of South Eco Hotel to have these performances. Anyway, David has sucked up a chunk of our time, so let's move on, please.
Moving on, AGN.
Emeka Rollers, yes.
Yes, Emeka
The director of the AGN,
He's asking the federal
Actors
government
Guild,
to regulate
asking the government to come and regulate
Nollywood.
Nollywood. And like I said, the headline, I think it's from. I saw this at. It's from Cable. The headline seems to be disconnected from the actual report, you know, because
yes,
it seemed like they were saying that it was about gangs of Lagos. But a lot of what Emeka Rolla seems to have been saying is about people who show up in the industry and just do what they like without maybe recourse to like the appropriate way it should be done.
Yeah, but in addition, also, I think another part of that report is also that he thinks that culture needs to be represented appropriately, and if it's regulated, that's where we'll be able to check what is being said about.
I didn't even see that.
Yes,
I didn't even see that a lot. But
so that it's being told with the.
So if he says that, yes, I feel like that's a very scary thing to say on the heels of gangs of Lagos, because AGN, the A in AGN is for actors, by the way. It's not. It's not for Association of Government. It means Actors Guild. It's not AGN. It's Actors Guild, not Association of Government. So I feel like if Emeka Rollers is speaking for the government, I'm like, is that really your job? Technically speaking, you're not there. You're not a minister of culture. That's not what your job. That's Mohammed. That's Lai Mohammed's job. That's not your job. Why are you the one who is saying that Nollywood can? I'm really just confused by why Emeka Rollers is the person in this to be saying something like this. If Lai said this, it's your job. I understand it. Emeka Rollers, I feel like should be advocating for the industry, and so if a film like Gangs of Lagos, which is actually quite impressive, comes out, I would assume that you should be saying, oh, you know what, these people should tell what they want to tell. But I also suspect that what might be happening here too, like I said this earlier on radio, is that maybe, just maybe, there's a generational thing going on here. Emeka Rollers belongs to old Nollywood. I think he's probably in his, the youngest he can be is probably late 40s, maybe, you know. So I feel like there's also a generational thing going on here, where people who are from old Nollywood feel like some of the new Nollywood people are taking corners that they probably shouldn't, and not coming back to the AGN. So I don't know, for instance, that everybody who is in Gangs of Lagos as an actor is registered with the AGN. So what Emeka Rollers might be doing here is that instead of protecting the industry at large, what is protecting instead is the Actors Guild of Nigeria. So that you will not be able, if government comes in, I'm assuming, I don't know this for a fact, I'm just assuming from the report. If government comes in, government now says, oh, you know what, you will not be allowed to be in a major production, and the person who's going to be the parent is going to be the producer, who actually is the person who is directing where the money goes to. That person is going to be held liable if one of the people who is casting doesn't belong to the guilds. And I get it from that perspective, because I know that even in the US as well, you kind of need to be in all of these guilds to get certain amounts of. So, for instance, there's like a pay wage structure. There's a minimum wage that you cannot get if you're registered with the age, all of those kind of things. But I feel like Nigeria doesn't have, the guilds have not proven themselves to be as strong. And I think for Emeka Rollers, the problem is that the law doesn't really back them the way, and enforcement too doesn't really back them the way it should. So it means that many people are going around them and not even acknowledging that the AGN exists. And I can sympathize with that, because I also know that I have spoken to a lot of young filmmakers, actors, directors, producers. Nobody ever mentions the AGN. So I think, yes, that's maybe where he's coming from, you know. But I just feel like when you're asking the government to come and regulate an industry, I think you are playing with fire. You are really playing, you know. This is a classic case of beware of what
you
you wish for.
yes, because sometimes
you don't want this
it
thing
might
to
not
happen.
favor
I
you
can
at
assure
the
you,
end of the
yes,
day.
I can assure you that you know what, you are going to get to the point where you're like, "Sheesh." So for instance, maybe you want to produce something and you want to shoot for like Nollywood or something, you want to shoot for like 2 weeks. Before you get the appropriate papers, government says, you know what, you have to do this, you have to do this, and it takes you like a month. Suddenly, the people you have booked for those particular period out of the way, you know. So either you have lengthier times, lengthier money. You are sorry, a lot more money than you are spending. How then you justify being a member of this guild if certain things cannot be fast tracked for you because government is regulating them? So I don't know. It's a really tricky thing to ask the government to come and regulate your industry. They have been doing. Nollywood has been doing fine on its own. You now want to go and bring people who are not particularly known for efficiency into the
Come and
industry.
intervene.
More.
Okay. Moving on. I mean, I was going to quickly ask you that. What do you think about the government offering India, what's it called, Bollywood or the Indian film industry?
No, I don't. I hope it's not enough. Please, I hope it's not enough. I think they want to offer Indians. I hope it's not. Please, I hope it's not the Indian film industry. Please, God, because the Indian film industry has not even collected, has not even gotten anything from the government. You want to go and give Indian? No, please. So hopefully, they want to a group of Indians maybe are asking the government to let them to give them land to do something like a film village. Well, me, I feel like I won't lie. This things are always very tricky because on the one hand, you want Nollywood to go somewhere else and get opportunities. But on the other hand, you're feeling like in your own country, though, I just don't feel like Nollywood gets enough respect from the government or enough attention. Then Indians, because they know how to lobby who they need to lobby, perhaps, and now they want to get. I don't know. The money we are spending nowadays in the industry is Oyibo money, mostly from the streamers, which is American money. The Amazons, that's an American company. Netflix, the same thing. You understand? I hear Disney Plus and the rest of them might be showing up soon.
Yeah.
Showmax, another streamer, is a South African. So I'm like, I don't know, man. You know, so it feels like what exactly is Nigerian? You get? And then these are like the streamers, the people, the platform. So it means that even if the producers are making money, your payment, that money you are paying the subscribers, is not coming to Nigeria. It's going to America or going to South Africa, majorly. So if again in Nigeria we now want to go and give land to Indians to build a film hub, that money again is probably not coming. A lot of that money is also going to be going to India.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like you call it Nigerian film industry, but really a lot of the money, a lot of the income. And even outcome are not Nigerian. How exactly is this a Nigerian industry?
So anyway, moving on. That story, I don't know. Let's see how it unfolds as time goes on. Because sometimes you just have this, you just make these statements, and then the people present will pick what they want to pick and blow it up to
So let's
out
see.
of proportion. Final story and international, coming from the international lesson table, is Pras Michel of the Fugees admitted to. I mean, this is just one part. Admitted to.
No, it's a long brief story.
Yes, an informant for the FBI, but
But really, I think yes. I think let me use the what's it called now, the Washington Post's headline.
Yeah.
Fugees rapper Pras Michel guilty in sprawling corruption trial. So he is defending himself against allegations of money laundering, campaign finance violations, and other charges in a sprawling criminal case arising from one of the biggest financial scandals in the world. So so that's just one part. It's a big, fat, juicy story.
Yes.
Everybody's in this story. It's like a film. In fact, actually, it might be a film.
At the end of the day,
yeah,
I mean, it depends on how because put or summarize the
because it's a big So I mean, from what I know, because I read, and everybody who's reading this, who's watching this, you should probably go and read. There's a big Financial Times story, Financial Times or Bloomberg, one of them, on this particular topic from last month. Big, long, fat, juicy story, you know. But there are so many arms to it. So the one I know or I remember from that story is that a guy called Jolo comes from Malaysia. He has done something bad there. He has kind of he has looted I think an NGO or some kind of government organization's money, specific for something else. He took the money, poof, he ran. He came to the US. Now in coming to the US, Malaysia is like, this guy stole our money, we need to get him back and come and try him. China somehow gets involved in this matter. Now Joe Low comes to America, and so that he builds a big profile, he wants to take a photo with some of the government officials. Obama, I think it was actually Obama's time, or Trump. I think it actually spoils
Wow.
the two of them actually. Anyway, but he befriends a lot of stars, a lot of celebrities, knows people on Wall Street. Somehow, he finds that okay, if Pras might be able to help him get the connect
Those things, yes.
that he needs. So he gets Pras. Now, according to the way these things work, Malaysia wants to use the US government to try and get this guy out. This guy feels like if he gets closer to certain people in the government, they would not let that happen.
Yes.
So Pras is one way he can do this. Now, in the US laws, a person cannot assist another person to kind of evade certain things if he's a foreign agent unless
Yes.
he's registered. So there's some so to get some kind of to play on an international level like this, you need to register with the government. Now, what's his name? One of the charges is that he didn't register with the government and it was trying to influence an international case. You understand? So that one too now becomes a big problem here. So China becomes involved because one of the things that Jolo wants to do is try and get a bunch of Chinese officials to meet the US government. The idea for me is just that, okay, the more I can get into these kind of places or help people do certain kind of things, the more it's harder for these people to carry me back
to
to
indict me or
my country and then go and try
yes.
me. You understand? So anyway, long story short, Pras is American. He's not going to he's American, He's the one that they get. Jolo, as we speak, is somewhere chilling. I read the report that they saw him somewhere 2 years or 3 years ago, somewhere in a vacation place somewhere in the world. But the country he's in doesn't have the tradition laws to Malaysia, which is the country that really, really wants to try him, or even to the US, who will take him back there. So that guy is free. Pras, however, is the person who is going on all of this. So Pras was given a deal initially when the FBI kind of came to him initially, because in fact, even Pras went to go and tell the FBI that somebody wants to meet somebody. He was just trying to find out, okay, what he could do to make sure to make it happen, and meeting everybody. Unfortunately for him, part of the things that happened was when he met the FBI now put him inside their own case. So this guy, what exactly happened? They started to investigate him, and so they showed him photos when they're trying to arrest him. That we saw you talking to a bunch of Chinese. What was that conversation about? Anyway, read the thing. It's a crazy story. But finally, it's like, okay, Pras might because he refused the plea. They asked him to admit that you were wrong.
Yes.
We'll give you a shortened time, and then you tell us
give us the
everything.
main information.
Exactly.
And he refused it.
He refused.
In fact, that was what
he said he wanted to clear his name.
That was what they now added 8 more charges on what they were even accusing him of.
You get I don't know, man. So he's still saying, by the way, that he's going to be found not guilty, but it looks like at this particular stage they have actually found him, according to the Washington Post report, he has been found guilty. But I don't think that sentencing is, maybe that'll be later. But yeah, you really should read the story because we really cannot touch everything in this.
And they found 78 million.
Yes, because as part of the thing to try and get him into this position. So one of the things he did was so for Trump, he wanted to get across to Trump. Jolo wanted to get across to Trump. So Pras asked a producer that used to know back, I think, on TV or something, to try and get him closer to Trump. That one asked a former senator to see whether that person could get him to Trump, and eventually did it. But before he did it, he said, you know what, rather than Jolo pay the senator, the money should come through him.
Yes.
So he established a bunch of shell companies to collect that Malaysian or Chinese money to give to this other guy. So which of course means there's paperwork that's going to see this guy. My goodness. Yes. So it's just
like
a crazy story.
A lot of rackets. Like it connects in various ways.
Honestly, I know it's a
crazy
story.
Really bad,
Really bad. DiCaprio had to give a statement at some point. So it's like celebrities here, a lot of money here. God, it's just a crazy story.
I mean, coming from also Pras, who accused Wycliffe back then, who sort of was part of the backlash on Wycliffe, saying that he
laundered money through this Haitian Save Haiti kind of scheme at the
campaign,
time. Yeah. I believe it. These people are saying James was like, okay, someone already Zibi was saying on radio that that she doesn't think he wasn't convicted and everything. I feel like Wycliffe did that thing. That's what I think.
But you can think so, but we're just saying we are in the premise of the law. He was not convicted.
Fair.
Because I think that was also investigated. It didn't just fly or just go under the carpet. But as long as he wasn't convicted, then we can as well say it was an accusation did not happen. But I mean, that's pretty much the news. Pras, we don't know how far or how short this particular case will run for. But it's seeming like there will be some jail time.
Yes.
And the guy is 50 right
10
now.
years,
Who knows
50
how many
years.
years? Who knows?
So they
What else?
convicted him on 10 counts,
Mhm.
you know, of charges. So yeah, 10 counts, man. Federal offenses, man. The time go long.
And it's also a big deal when you admit that you are a snitch, in quotes. That's what it is for the FBI. And you know how people are.
That one I
how
feel is just a.
Americans are about you being a snitch, or even the streets feels about somebody being a snitch.
Proud of the street sense. So
That-
streets business. Nah, streets
A snitch is a snitch.
No, streets business.
I
You will
think
never
it's
be
just-
on the street, so there's no problem with that one. The thing is
I
really
think it's
about
just
the fact
crazy,
that the money laundering, witness tampering, lying to banks, all of those things, you know, because of course the shell companies. Anyway, all of these things kind of really the thing that is should be pressing on his mind, like, man, shit, man, there is going to be hell to pay.
Yeah.
But of course, we'll hear when they decide to when the judge decides to give him how many. So because he will go,
He will.
He's going to go. They covered now 10 charges, federal offenses. Nah, there's no way you can just poof and let that thing disappear. Somebody's going to pay. He's going to go. Something will happen. Usually, I don't know. I feel like at least 10 years, and it might be more. It might be more.
But I mean, fingers crossed on that one. But that's pretty much the show.
Yeah, that's about it.
Well, guys, see you on the next one. Subscribe, like we always say, comments. Catch us on social media. I'm James Silas on Instagram.
And I'm Catch Oris.
And he's Catch Oris on Instagram. I think that's one of the easiest places you can see us. I mean, there's a way you can sense some of our real lives when you hit us up on social media like that.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.